This is the Canon AE-1 program, and in my opinion, it's actually the best entry-level film camera, and let me tell you why. So, I've been on this photography journey for about 5 years now, and recently I picked up my first film camera. Well, it wasn't mine, it was actually my grandpa's, and we found it in my aunt's attic. And it turns out it didn't work, but that first roll got me hooked on film. And as I was looking to actually acquire my first real film camera that actually does work, I went to the local film store and they had the Canon AE-1 program there. And honestly, for me, it seemed like the perfect camera to get started in all of this. First, let me explain why. The price point was actually a few $100. I think I paid 250 USD for a recently serviced Canon AE-1 program, and on top of that they threw in a 50mm 1.8 nifty 50 lens. And honestly, I love this lens and I use it all the time. So this camera was actually made originally in 1981, so it seems like they're a readily accessible film camera that you can purchase today, whether that's on eBay, Camera Store, or on Facebook Marketplace. One thing that really stood out to me about this camera is, like, if something ever goes wrong with it, which seems to be kind of a common trend when working with these older cameras, is that the replacement parts are going to be readily available. And so far, I've really enjoyed the ecosystem of the Canon AE-1. So it actually uses the Canon FD lenses, which I love. I think the lenses have great character. There is a lot available for relatively low prices. So I just have the 50, and then I think it's a 127. And honestly, you can get great lenses for this camera for right under $100 that are in amazing condition. And the ecosystem is huge. So whatever you're wanting to shoot, I'm sure there's going to be a lens for that. Something to note too, the FD system, they are all manual focus. So unfortunately, you're not going to have autofocus with this specific set. That's something that you're going to have to look into cameras that were made later in the 90s or early 2000s as an example. But for me, honestly, it's been nice to kind of get away from having autofocus and truly focus on making the best possible compositions. Some of the things I really love about this camera are the aesthetics. I absolutely love the Panda version, and it's also available all in black. It seems relatively rugged for the most part. I've never dropped it or had anything bad happen to it, but the camera's in beautiful condition despite being from the 1980s, so what's not to love about that? One of my favorite things about this camera is you can essentially just run the whole thing in auto. Specifically with the Canon AE-1 program, as long as you go up right here on the shutter. Specifically with the Canon AE-1 program, as long as you come right up on the camera and then you input the program button for the shutter and the A for the aperture, it's automatically going to calculate it based upon the scene and give you a relatively good readout for the most part. So if you're someone that doesn't want to learn aperture, shutter, then just go ahead and just leave those settings on and you'll probably be okay for the most part. But that's all about I have for this one. So if you're looking for the perfect entry-level film camera in 2026, I would really recommend picking up the Canon AE-1 program. It's served me really well, and I hope it'll do the same thing for you. If you have any questions over anything film photography or the actual camera itself, feel free to drop a message down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.